the Uprising podcast. We're doing an interview today, and our interview is with Reverend Mareo Johnson. He is a founder of Black Lives Matter Tulsa Sector, public servant, community leader, and activist. He is wanting to run for District 1 City Council. And Reverend Johnson, what inspired you to run for City Council?
Well, I have aspirations of running for District 1 City Council. And basically just seeing the needs of the community, and I know that I can do the job, basically to transform a community. And throughout the years, people have been saying, I should run for office, but it used to go in one ear and go out the other. Until a couple of years ago, I started really considering, thinking about running. So that's one of the main reasons, is just to see people, see the community empowered, the people empowered, and things like that.
So is it like you're a leader of the community and you think you need to step up and do even more now?
Yes.
Is that correct? Definitely.
Because, you can only do so much being a leader and just being a common leader in the community, which is good as well. But I have so much to offer. I feel that it's leveling up, I could do more for a community. And
do you want to expand on, like, what have you done in the past and what you're currently doing for the community?
Most definitely. Basically, me being a public servant, I started out serving the community before even thinking about running. So as far as going out feeding the hungry, going to John 3:16, places like that, going to the prisons, basically reentry, which is all part of community building and people building, empowering people. So reentry is important in our community. So I've dealt with that, dealt with gang violence, stopping the killing, prison prevention, gang prevention, speaking to youth on different levels. You name it. Just a lot of stuff. And then also, and then being the founder of Black Lives Matter Tulsa chapter, social justice. We rallied behind a lot of the issues when it came to Philandale Castile and Sterling being murdered in other states. We here basically was setting a standard, basically saying, we don't want certain things to happen at our home and stuff like that. And so when it came to Shannon Kepler being with the Jeremy Lake situation, pretty sure you heard about that, where we were basically pushing for a conviction for that. So we, you name it, we've been, and I've been basically right there in the thick of it, which really, when we think about it, Black Lives Matter as a whole, it has sparked a lot of courage and sparked a lot of empowerment and people to basically say, you know what, I can lift my voice. When it comes, I'm not just saying Afro-American people, but all people, as far as women, as far as workers, as far as everybody, when they're being mistreated, and when they're being, when their human rights are being hindered, it gave them more of more courage to speak up. But, throughout the years, we've had people that was courageous, that will speak up here and there and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. But you see more people, more organizations, more groups forming after that.
Yeah. And do you want to expand on this Black Lives Matter in Tulsa and, like, fight against some misinformation that movement has had? Like, people saying that they're a radical group and other non-true things.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course. That's one of the things I knew was going to happen when forming it. I knew that stuff was going to come because that's always came with the movements.
Yeah.
That's been the main weaponry used against movements to destroy a movement. So I was already aware of those things. That's why I was very cautious of letting people know, look, everyone that say Black Lives Matter is not in the chapter, so to speak. So anybody could put on a shirt and go out there and tear up something and say Black Lives Matter, and then the whole group is being blamed for it. So I was always cautious of that and letting that be known that that everyone that do that, say Black Lives Matter, not necessarily meaning they with the chapter, but they could be meaning Black Lives Matter and taking things in the way they perceive things they should do and carry certain things out. But that doesn't mean that they had the support of Black Lives Matter in doing certain things. Yeah. So that was one of the things as far as being radical to an extent, but not with hate.
Yeah, or violence.
Not with hate or violence, not radical in that sense. Even the movement itself, I believe in 2016 or 17, somewhere in there, got the what was that? The Peace Prize. Yeah. The whole organization.
Yeah.
I believe the Sydney Peace Prize. So that says something.
Yeah.
If a whole movement is getting a Peace Prize, that says something.
And that's just the powers that be want to discredit changes.
Exactly.
Because they want to keep it the same.
Exactly. So, was you going to say?
No. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, but yeah, exactly. That's the whole point of discrediting. And I know you heard about the Trump administration was calling Black Lives Matter and other social justice advocates identity extremists.
Yeah.
And basically saying, they'd be watching. People was wondering, okay, well, why the KKK ain't under this type of scrutiny?
Or
you know what I'm saying? Or white supremacists. But like you just said, because don't want any change. But I believe that when society as a whole finally realized that times are changing, and the old stuff is not going to work anymore. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And times are changing. So to get further in life, and when people see, and I'm talking about even moderates, even people, when we talk about the rich, when they realize now, look, this is going to benefit everyone. You know what I'm saying? This change.
Yeah.
This change, because see now it's the time when we have to start transforming things, because things are different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now we need people like me up there in government. Need people, and I've noticed that a lot of activists, former activists, or current activists in different states and towns are getting elected official positions. And I believe that people are realizing that that's needed now, because, like you said, we need that. Now we need to come up with answers on how we're going to fix, our incarceration rate. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hurting us as a whole. See, when it starts hurting the whole, we got to do something about it.
Yes. Especially in this state, the incarceration is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
One of the highest in the country.
Right. So now when we say, okay, when we talk about incarceration, we talk about the money that's being spent into it, right? This is where it affects us. This is where it hurts us and really hold us back. That money can be used in rehabilitation and education. For instance, let me say this. See, that's one of the problems being the people, like the voters, when they voting on these things, it's put out there for them like this, like, hey, we need to build more prisons because it's going to keep us safe. Locking up the murderers and the thieves, but it's not saying, look, we're going to be locking up people with petty drug charges that need help, that need psychological help. They ain't telling the people this. You know what I mean? But we're going to lock up hardcore criminals. We need more space. And then they up taxes, willing to pay, right? But now when taxpayers realize, wait a minute, our tax dollars is going to the wrong place, because we're helping building facilities that's incarcerating people that's wrongfully convicted, that's innocent. Yeah. Not only that, but petty crimes.
Like drug possession.
Simple drug possession, because the person is a drug addict. Yeah, that person needs help. Don't need to be around killers and murderers.
Yeah.
That person needs help. So yeah, definitely. that's a lot of one of the things that I really push for and change. And I understand that you have the people that's profiting off of private prisons and things like that. Of course, they're going to be in opposition towards that. But even they have to realize, look, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we're going to go broke. See what I'm saying? That's what people have to realize. Like the wealthy people have to realize, like, it's not going to hurt you. Mm-hmm. It's not going to hurt you. A little money out of your pockets, you know, you're still going to be able to put food on the table. You're mm-hmm. still going to be able to drive your nice cars. You're still going to have nice money in the bank. Mm-hmm. As we're not talking about, and that, like with Bernie Sanders, when he was talking about the big corporation, the bank, he wasn't talking about breaking their pockets. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's just talking about, look, hey, man, let's tax you more because we taxing the poor more than you being taxed.
Yeah, because
that's backwards.
Some people, like Amazon, didn't pay anything in taxes.
Yeah, that's backwards. But then you have people who are struggling and striving to pay, and they paying taxes. Mm-hmm. So that's only right. You know, because that's how we're supposed to be in a family, right? The strong and the wealthy bear the infirmities of the weak, right? To help the disadvantaged. Mm-hmm. That's in the family, right? I mean, like the family get together. Okay, look, we're gonna go and help so and so, whatever. So we have to start looking at the United States as that now. Mm-hmm. That's what we have to start visualizing now. Instead of separatism, everything being separate, we got to start realizing, look, we're a family. Mm-hmm. And so we have to help each other. The less fortunate, we have to have initiatives that can help them and empower them where they do better in life. But speaking on like the mass incarceration, that's like where we're at with the mass incarceration stuff. All this money is going into prisons.
Especially private prisons, which I don't even think we should have.
Yeah, private prisons especially as well. More money going into those. But now, when we talk about education, then we cutting programs, we cutting education and stuff like that. Wait a minute, we're cutting the wrong stuff here. We need to start cutting some of this prison money stuff, mm-hmm. right? And putting that money into, you know, basically, we have to be more proactive. Yeah. In other words. Instead of reactive. Okay, well, let's put money in the places that's going to prevent people from going to prison.
And you invest in schools, more likely people can be able to go to college.
Exactly.
And get better jobs. But if they don't have money, then poverty leads to crime.
Exactly.
And crime leads to, so it's a circle.
Right. And crime leads to prison.
Yeah.
You know, of course, right? And so that's what we have to fix. We have to fix that. And once people realize that everybody benefits from that, mm-hmm. you know what I'm saying? We all benefit from that as a nation. When we start talking about building our community, building our city, building our nation, mm-hmm. that's the type of things we got to look at, right? Mm-hmm. But if we're not, if people is not focused on building the nation and building people as a whole, mm-hmm. then that division stuff is going to keep us. It's going to hold us back. That's why other countries, we're going to eventually see other countries surpassing us in the United States. Because mm-hmm. it's true, a house that's divided will not stand. Yeah. I mean, a divided house will not be strong.
When we're so busy fighting each other, like China's going to be getting bigger and all these other people are going to take advantage of that vacuum while we just fight over petty things. And
exactly,
we should become more of a country that we're our brother's keeper, like the Bible says.
That's right.
Like we used to be.
And see, and that's what, and like Bernie, and that's where he's at, and that's where I've been at. So when we talk about our brother's keeper, we talk about those type of things. Mm-hmm. In the United States, at once upon a time was at the top, mm-hmm. right? In a certain time.
Yeah.
Okay, but now it's different. Mm-hmm. The United States can't do the same tactics and expect to be at the top.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we have to, now is the days we have to come together more, like you're saying, more as a brother keeper, more as a unit, more as a family, and say, mm-hmm. look, I'm American. Mm-hmm. Okay, you're American.
Yeah.
We have that in common. Regardless if you're black, white, Hispanic, male, female, whatever, short, tall, whatever, slim, big, mm-hmm. you know, whatever.
Yeah,
we're American, mm-hmm. right? So then we have that in common. That makes us family, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
So we have to start working towards all these things to make us better.
Yeah, and we're just not that country anymore. We used to be. We used to be more of a community. Now we're so individualized.
Right.
It's mine and myself and my family. I don't care about anyone else.
Right. As long, yeah.
And we can't, as a country, survive much longer being that.
That's
like,
right.
Like a football team, your team is only as good as the weakest player. Your country is only as good as the weakest in the most vulnerable positions. So, and that's what Senator Sanders was talking about, is kind of taking some of that wealth that these wealthier people have been just hoarding and putting them into offshore places.
Yeah.
And giving it back to.
Yeah, something. You know, he's like I was saying, he's not talking about, break yourself.
Yeah.
He's just saying we're going to give a little something here and a little something there. And that's what we should want to do. Like, as especially wealthy people, I mean, should want to help the less fortunate.
Yeah, because it helps them in the long run.
Right.
If you're having people struggle and can't buy your products, well, then you're not making money either.
You're not making money either. But sometimes the fear be, well, they can get their own and then they won't need me anymore. Yeah. That'd be the fear, right? But have to even get out of that type of fear, because, like I said, it's not going to break person. So if that person do go out and get a company, you know what I'm saying, the same company, and don't need to buy from you anymore, but that's okay. You know what I'm saying? That's okay.
Well, that's capitalism. I mean,
right.
If you have a corporation, then you need to evolve and
that's right.
appeal to your customers, not compete with your competitors.
That's right.
So I mean, that's what this country is built off of, is being the best and changing and competing. But we're doing too much. I think we're doing too much of just getting the little scraps that these people kick down, essentially.
Definitely.
And we can't do it anymore.
Can't do it anymore.
It's not moral in my eyes, and it's not feasible either.
That's definitely right. And that's the thing that's going to help us change, and is when we all can see that. You know what I'm saying? What we're talking about and what we're seeing, when the majority can see that, and stop being in fear of losing money, stop being in fear of coming in with the short end of the stick, when it really, in the long run, it's going to benefit everyone.
So your platform is more of a progressive platform, is that correct?
Oh, definitely, yes, definitely. I would say progressive that can work moderately. So you see what I'm saying? Yeah. And I believe that's what's needed.
Yeah.
Being able to be diplomatic. Sometimes
you're not always right.
Right.
And sometimes you guys, all right, so I want to do this. This is my thing, and you want that?
Yeah.
Let's compromise.
Let's compromise. Yeah. Exactly. Diplomatic, right?
Yeah.
And when I look at District 1, when I look at the North community, that's what it takes. It's going to take being diplomatic to help build a community.
Yeah.
And everything. And that's one of the reasons why I feel that being District 1 City Council, it will really be a benefit to the people in North Tulsa.
Yeah. Do you want to expand on that, like certain things that you would do if given that opportunity?
Well, most definitely, like far as economic development, public safety, those are two things at the top of the list, which a lot of people would say, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of things and initiatives entails, economic development entails a lot of different initiatives that I have, and you'll probably hear about that later sometime. But I don't want to put all that out there at the moment, because you know how people can do, and they can, let me do that, and people that, but anyway, things, I have some ideas and some initiatives that fits into economic development, public safety, when we talk about that. And we're talking about building, when we talk about economic development is broad. It has to do with anything that basically promotes life, whether it's education, everything fits in economic development. So economic development, public safety, because to build a community, you have to have public safety is a very important component in building. Because if people don't feel safe to have a business, because business retail is so important, I want to see more businesses. Not only just see more businesses in District 1, but to see thriving businesses in District 1. Because it's open for that.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I would like to see and I would like to do, do and see, is that building. Economic development, public safety. And there's some other things as well. But transforming the district, that's what it's going to take, and being diplomatic is how we're going to get there.
Yeah.
Of course, when people don't hear you, you know what I'm saying, then you make noise, okay? But being an advocate and an activist, everybody is not active. Everybody is not a leading activist, put it like that. There is things that you must understand and know about that. Some people think activism is, okay, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to loud, I'm going to be loud, and I'm going to be loud, and I'm going to be loud. Okay, well, being loud and continue being loud ain't just going to get you nowhere. Okay?
Get you so far.
Right. Well, basically, if you don't have a purpose, see, basically, let me give you an example. Okay, when I go out and I protest or whatever, I tell the people before we go protest, this is what we're protesting about. This is why we protested. This is the next level. This is the next step we want to get to in this protest, right? Okay. When we speak out, we want to get the attention. Once we got the attention, now let's talk. See, some people thinking it's constantly, I gotta, What do you just want to be heard then?
Yeah.
But do you really want to see some change? It's either two things. Either you just want to be heard and seen.
Yeah.
You don't care about no change. You just see the rah, 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 rah. Okay, now, but I'm going to rah, rah, say, look, I want to get your attention. This is like if you feel someone is not paying attention to you. You do something to get their attention.
You bang on
the door, you something. And then once you say, huh? You say, hey, look. Now, what about this? So it's a process. So it's about getting things done. If you really want to get things done. So I wanted to say that to say that's what in building and in elevating, that's needed. You know what I'm saying? Being able to be diplomatic and being able to talk. This person may not like you. You may not like that person. But we can, if it's for the betterment of you, me, and people, we can sit down and talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And we can put our feelings to the side. And we can be diplomatic because we're talking about growth here. We're talking about building.
And it's really good to have someone in your corner fighting for the people, not just fighting for corporations or fighting for special interests. Right. Like fighting for the people is so important to actually cause change. Yes. So that's a great. I really appreciate what you're doing. Is this wanting to change things, because it's been so stagnant in North Tulsa. It has. The roads. This is terrible. The schools. It's the crime, because it's just it's kind of like the forgotten part of our city, unfortunately. Right. You're right. And we have so much development in like Broken Arrow, South Tulsa. Owasso. Yeah, East Tulsa. And we're just kind of this, that's just North Tulsa. They just do their thing, and that's just not acceptable. Like exactly. Like we were just saying, is exactly you're a brother's keeper. And exactly. If you want to stop these things, like a lot of other people and certain others, like so terrified of crime. Well, you want to stop the crime. Stop putting people in prison. Right. Start giving them jobs and better opportunities. Right. There you go. And see, that's a part of the component in public safety, right? Because I like doing the stop the killing and start the healing events. Stop the violence and things like that. Also, prison prevention and all that fits into that, right? That I've already been doing and have done. So those things as well. You know what I mean? That's what we have to do to be able to grow a community. And like you said, it's like an unforgotten place, and that's what it is. We have to bring North Tulsa up to where it looks like Tulsa.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? We don't want all the parts of Tulsa looking nice and then you go here north and then it's just trash and nothing there. No, we want it to be developed as well. Now, we do want to keep certain things there, of course. You know, you don't want everything to be industrialized.
Yeah, like historic things.
Yeah, historic things and stuff like that. But we do want, I do want to bring development where you can tell it's Tulsa. It don't look like when you go from South Tulsa to North Tulsa, you in a whole different place. You see what I'm saying? So I want to make it look like where it's Tulsa. And that's so important. That's very important. Then we're talking about jobs. And of course we have to also, I also want to keep in consideration of the people, to basically involve North Tulsans in the process.
Which people from the community in charge of these certain things. Right. You don't want to have people that aren't in the community taking over everything. So
that's when that's when pushback is gonna come.
Yeah. And that's when the gentrification is gonna come. So it's gonna kick everyone down the street, so to say.
Right, exactly. And that's why I say, look, the best way to grow a community like North Tulsa and what I want to bring as a city council is saying, look, okay, we want to implement these things, and these people going to play a part in it, and then that's when we will see a relationship that's going to prosper. And I mean, on good terms, is okay. Yeah, let's work together type stuff, and then that's how it's going to be built and everything, and be developed. So jobs, education. When you have those things, you have more sales tax dollars going into the community. Now we can spend more in education. So now we have all this stuff going on, and it's a beautiful thing. And you see a thriving community. And because, you know, North Tulsa, I tell people North Tulsa, I look at the Black Wall Street new era, so to speak, North Tulsa. I'm also an advocate of basically preserving the history of Greenwood District, but it's not going to be the Black Wall Street of 1920s. I see people saying, "Hey, rebuild Black Wall Street." Well, if you look at it right now, what you're going to do, knock down some other stuff? That's kind of hard to do the way things is made up now. So basically, yes, preserve that, and the businesses there, and of course, welcome businesses in and stuff like that. Build in the places that can be built, of course. But more of a historical.
Kind of like the spirit of Black Wall Street.
Preserve that. But let's build north. You know what I'm saying? Because we need to. Matter of fact, that's where people eventually went. People went because during that time, that's where Afro-Americans lived. They lived around the downtown area. That's where it was. Then they moved a little further and went north. My mother, she went to Central when it was downtown. You know what I'm saying? But so deep North Tulsa, like what we say North Tulsa now, that was where, white people, that was, all white. You know what I'm saying? That's so crazy today. Now, so
kind of crazy how that works,
isn't it? Man. That's interesting. But the economic development is so important in community building, and being diplomatic and being able to sit down and get some things done for all people, for the people as a whole. When we talking about being, as a whole, getting things done, and also keeping in mind liberation, because in other words, Afro-Americans need things. Blacks need things to call their own. You know what I'm saying? Basically, they say, "Hey, this is mine over here. This is mine over there." It's okay. We'll have some liberation somewhere. You know what I'm saying? That's all right. I believe too that people sometimes, let's say people in power, sometimes feel like, well, if they get something, they're going to come for us, or, you know what I'm saying? Or they're going to retaliate.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel that some of it, not all now, a certain percentage of the oppression comes from nowadays. You see what I'm saying?
They're scared.
Right, nowadays. You see what I'm saying? Like, okay, well, if we give them reparations, then we're going to strengthen them to be able to hurt us.
Yeah.
And think about the stuff that our ancestors done to them. You see what I'm saying? But now, but they're wrong. That's the wrong thinking. Because see, reality is this: people just want to be able to live, send their children to college, have a business or a few if possible. That's what's so beautiful about economic development. When you got empowering people, right? When you got people that's empowered, they not trying to go over there and do nothing to you. They trying to make more money in their business. They mind is on, look, okay, how can I get more customers, or how can I build my business? Let's know trying to go over there and do something to you, right? See, for instance, and when we talk about crime, because we was touching on that just a second ago, like crime, when you have a community that has been deprived and then poverty-stricken to a certain extent, you're going to have crime. Yeah.
Because you have no other.
You're going to have robbery. You're gonna, and so then people say, okay, I put a business in there. Okay, then I'm going to get robbed because of the surrounding. Because somebody going to need some money.
Yeah.
Or somebody might be on drugs. But we know crime go in all parts of the city, and just as much crime in other parts of the city as North Tulsa.
Yeah.
But just that other parts of the city have more, and they have more of a foundation to where it doesn't hurt. But so now when we say, look, okay, well, how do we decrease the crime? Well, what you do is you help people. You help people develop. You help empower people. Then you see them empowered. They having things. You know, you're always going to have your small percentage of people who just not going to do right. That's everywhere and all people everywhere in the world. But now, for the most part, you have. But now, what's going to happen is those people that's having things are going to come down on those people. Look, y'all need to get y'all act together. So we're trying to have stuff around here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't got, and so we ain't got to worry about them because they gonna come down on them and discipline them. Like, look, wait a minute, we trying to have something over in this community, and if you ain't trying to have nothing, then you maybe just need to move around.
Yeah, y'all not gonna mess with something we're trying to do.
Because we trying to get something, we trying to elevate here. So that's so important, but that's what a community does, and that's what community is about, and that's what family is about. But that's how we do that. We empower each other, and that's what I want to bring to my community. That's what I'm about. I'm about empowering the people, but it's not to empower the people to go kick in doors and kill people because of what happened in the past. No, people are saying, look, we want to live.
Yeah.
We want to be able to have a nice bank account. We want to be able to drive a nice car as well, get us to and fro, pick the kids up, you know, graduation time, you know, we going here and, you know what I'm saying, going to college, we driving, hitting the highway, going here and to help them set up for their first day in college. All this type of stuff, you know, just living life. So that's what it's about. And that's what we need to do. And that's what I want. That's a prime example of what I want to do. I want to be able to push those initiatives and transform a community, and I believe I can do it.
Kind of like we were just saying, like kind of like a community more policing, a neighborhood more policing.
Yeah, because when we talk about police and community relations, because that's also another platform that I care about and that I've already been involved in and stuff like that, even, you know, with the mayor and with the city of Tulsa. And with the chief, Deputy Chief Brooks, and so I don't know if he's still Deputy Chief at this moment, but yeah, those type of things is important because I remember talking to him a while back about this, how we need people from the community to serve the community, police the community,
represent the community.
Exactly, because what you have, then you have a person that understands the dynamics of that community. In other words, as an example, someone that don't really have a connection with this people or this community, they pull someone over, and the person maybe just his wife said, she want a divorce, so he mad, he angry. He been drinking a little bit, maybe. He gets pulled over because he maybe swerved a little. But he's upset for a reason. He's been drinking for a reason. I'm not condoning it, saying anything is right about that. I'm just saying there's a reason.
Yeah.
And so then the person is upset. Why are you pulling me over? I mean, could just be upset. He got pulled over. Why are you? And then that person don't understand that characteristic. Let me put it that way. Grabbing for the gun. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And then the person can just be like, finna get out, open the door because he ain't thinking right now because he's not in his right mind.
Yeah.
For one, he's not in his right mind. He's mad. So he's like, I'm just gonna step out the car, not thinking this might get me shot.
Yeah.
That's not even a thought. I'm just saying. So boom, he steps out, he getting out the car, don't move, pop, 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 pop.
Yeah.
You know. So, but then let me give you the flip side of it. Okay, it gets pulled over. Someone that's understand dynamics community, being in the community, understand. Okay, you have a few different scenarios here. People get pulled over, the officer step up to the car. Hey, Tim, what are you doing? Man, look here, man. Are you drunk? You been drinking? Yeah. Same stuff that happened in other areas with people that understand the dynamics of that community.
Yeah.
Same thing.
If you know your neighbor, then that's Tim down the street.
Yeah. Or I went to school with his sister.
Yeah.
Or, his brother used to play with my brother. Or different things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Our kids used to play together. Or go to school together. Or, I see this person at parent-teacher conferences or something.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Like,
my wife just told me she wanted a divorce. Then you get in this conversation. Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, that's community policing, right? So, what community policing does, right? It's supposed to what? You serve in that community.
Yeah.
You're supposed to serve and protect, so you want to empower that community. That's what officers. That's what the officers have to get to. They have to get to that point, to where it's not like I'm looking at you as a criminal off the top, but I'm looking at you as a person off the top.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to use my badge and my authority. You know what I'm saying? To decriminalize you or whatever, dehumanize you, but I'm gonna use it as to empower you, to help you, to let you know I'm here for you, so to speak. If you do something right, you do something wrong, I'm here for you. You do something wrong, I'm here to lock you up. You do something right, I'm here to say, hey, good job, right?
Hold you accountable, or give you
either or, right? That's what we need. We need that as well as that. We need a balance there. But so it's like, hey man, it's like, okay, well man, it's gonna be all right. Look, man, do you have anybody you've been drinking? Do you have anybody to come and pick you up? Because I can't let you drive, like this. So can someone come? I'm gonna give you a break. I understand you're going through some hard times, but look, don't be drinking and driving. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Even hold them accountable for that.
Right.
Doing that, but don't take their life for a situation that could have been de-escalated.
Exactly. But if I know, and understand that community, even say that just knowing, it's a different. Because say that person getting out the car, okay, he knowing he mad, he ain't finna reach for the gun. Look, man, okay, man, look, you ain't got to get out the car right now. Well, man, I just want to get out and talk to you, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's
I mean, you have to think about the officers, like it's a dangerous job. If you don't know who this person is.
Right, you're going to be cautious.
Yeah.
And then you're supposed to.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be cautious.
That's part of the job.
That's part of the job. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so, because when we look at public safety, we talking about, when I say public safety, I'm talking about all for everyone. I'm talking about public safety. Officers need to feel safe.
Yeah.
People need to feel safe. Business owners need to feel safe. Yes. Parents, fathers, mothers, children need to feel safe. Yeah. So now, what do we do? And this is what I'm saying. This is what I want to do. The things that will help everyone feel safe. Because when the majority of the people feel safe, we can see true building, true economic power, true economic development.
And like we were just saying, true investment in the communities, even in some type of thing that the 2001 Tulsa Race Riot Commission is talking about, reparations for possibly the victims or their families. And this is some form of that should be even considered.
Of course.
Yeah.
I agree with with reparations. I always have. But but the thing is, we have to get to a point and say, okay, what is reparations?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because Bernie had mentioned something about he didn't support. Well,
he supported it,
but he didn't know. Because see, what I thought, what people didn't understand really where he was getting at. It was the point of he was saying basically what is reparations.
Yeah.
How can I say I'm for it?
I don't understand it.
If we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Right. Say for instance, say we say, okay, reparations is $1 for everyone. Do you agree with that? Would you agree with that reparations? No. So now I see people don't look at it that way. See, Bernie was being smart in my perception, because how can you say you for it if you don't know what? Okay, we know what reparation. Okay, yeah, I'm for retribution. Okay, but now, what is that retribution gonna be? What is the reparations?
Yeah.
Am I for the word reparation? Yes. But what is the reparation?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now I can say if I'm for that, first we have to get to a point to what it is. Then when we get to what it is, then I can say I'm for that, or I'm not. Or this should be more, or I'm not with that. I'm not with that. You know what I'm saying? So what is reparations? But yes, I'm for retribution. But now what we got to get to a point, like I was saying, what is reparations? What would that be? But yeah, like you said, in 2001 Race Riot Commission initiatives, yeah, I agree with those things as far as.
Yeah. Do you think they could have did more though?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe more can be done, and I believe that it's not over. Things can still be being looked into. But as far as
which is kind of what we've been talking about, is investing in the community.
Right. Reparations given to the survivors' children, students that's impacted from the race massacre. Yes. But I believe, we should get to that, to where more is done, where we are initiating those principles. And then as a whole, as the nation, reparations as well to all Afro-American people.
We can start healing from that. Because Germany, if people are not aware, is that they done things for the Jewish people and other things like that.
Right.
And they have a lot of education about the Nazis, and we did these terrible things, but we're learning from those mistakes. And unlike America, is just so doesn't want to accept certain things we've done in the past.
Right, because, and you're right, you're absolutely right, because they feel if they do accept it, then it just make them look bad, and then people, looking at them a certain light because they accept what have been done wrong to a people. But they got to realize, no. It's really going to help. It's really going to help heal. If people are not going to be worried about, running into the ground because you say, okay, this was wrong, and we accept the responsibility of this.
Yeah.
See, people have to realize that that's really going to help the people, because when people feel like you have no remorse, then that's when people rear up, and that's when they give you that pushback, and that's when they pressing and saying, look, and then that's when they calling names. That's when they saying you don't care. That's when they saying don't trust you. But then when you say, look, okay, we was wrong. Now we want to fix this. Oh, okay, that person do care. It's not like, oh, why didn't you see? I told you was wrong. No, come on. It's just saying, okay, let's make it work. Let's work on this healing together. Okay, we're glad that you see that. You know what I'm saying? We're glad, and see, I'll be one of them people as a leader saying that, like, to the people, like, look, we're glad we to that point. You know what I'm saying? Now let's all work together on this healing process. That's what's needed. So now when people realize, when they realize that just saying, owning up to what people done in the past, and what's been even done like in the recent past or whatever, when it comes to injustices, saying, look, okay, yes, we wrong, but we want to make sure, do what we can to where this don't happen again. Maybe we can't fix it in one night because it didn't just happen and was developed in one night, but let's start the process of healing. You see, and that is so important. That's the only way we're going to get there, is by
you can't change the past, but you can make your future.
Make the future better.
Yeah.
That's right. Can't change. What's done in the past is already done. There's no changing that.
Mm-hmm.
But what we can do, we can use the past. We can learn from it,
Mm-hmm.
and then learn from the past how to be better people for the future and for each other as a whole.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, we'll see a lot better. And going back to what we were saying earlier about how things have changed now, where the old things don't work anymore. Because see, nowadays you have people coming up in the community, like I say, like whites. They did, young white people are different these days than they was back in the years ago. I mean, what I mean by that,
there's still issues, of course, but
yeah, what I'm saying is like they're not. I mean, I'm just saying what I've came across is more open to work and learn and
open-minded
and being together and working together and all of that. And a lot of people is like, wait a minute, racism is wrong.
Yeah.
We don't want to condone that. We don't condone that. Yeah. That's what you see a lot now. You see what I'm saying? And like I said, and more people are also more comfortable with saying that now. Maybe it was then, but just wasn't comfortable with saying it and had to go along with it. But the point is, it's a different time, and people are coming up different. You know what I'm saying? Like the hardcore racist people, they're timing out, right? So then you having a whole different breed of people coming up, and generations of people coming up, and these people are not they're not perceiving things like that. So now that's what I'm saying about.
And they're more kind of what we've been talking about is more of your brother's keeper.
More your brother's keeper.
Just not just us, but everyone.
Everyone. Yeah. More, hey, we'll be friends. Get along. Let's work together. Those type of things. You even see a lot more interracial relationships now. I mean, they've always been around, but I'm saying you see more now than before. So it's a lot of signs that they're letting us know. Look, things are changing. It's not the same anymore. So you can't. So America, and even when we talk about city government, can't operate that same way because people are not having that. You know what I'm saying? And it's not only black people. It's Hispanics. It's white people. It's you know what I'm saying? Native Americans. Everyone. Yeah. People are not having it like that anymore. So the best thing to do is when we talk about progressiveness, that's what it's going to take. That's what kind of leadership it's going to take to help change things. And like I said, man, as far as Tulsa, I like the way where we're headed as a government now in Tulsa. Where we're headed, there's work to be done, but where we're headed, because there's a lot more inclusion in City Hall. More you have Hispanics, more Afro-American people in different positions and stuff like that. That you wouldn't have seen before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, I mean, like coming from where I come from, my background and everything, being a mayor appointee on the Sales Tax Overview Committee, representing the city, in that component, in that capacity. I look at that as a difference. Yeah. That's a big change. That's a big difference because here you have someone basically from the grassroots, progressive. But like I said, I know how to sit down and talk to anyone. Yeah. But someone like me. Yeah. That's there. That represents mayor on that committee. Yeah, because if you don't have someone that's from the community, speaking for the community, well, you can't really understand where that people in the community are coming from. Like, right. I can like myself. Like I can understand what you're talking about, but I don't have those emotions. I don't know fully what that means. So right. To a certain extent, you be able to relate, but then to really fully know that in-depth feeling about it, then that's another story, right?
I got 4 minutes left on this one. I don't know if that's going to mess anything up. Just want to let you know.
We'll start on it. Anything else you want to get on, Reverend Johnson?
Just basically, I would like to say that we do need a change in District 1. No offense to anyone, but we just need someone that's going to be able to move the district forward for all people, and as a city as a whole, willing to work with the city and making that happen.
Yeah.
But it's just so much. It's so much. But I'm thankful that I came to this point to really start thinking and having aspirations to run for District 1 City Council. Because of where I come from, my background, I feel that I'm very well responsible, and also I believe that I'm equipped.
Yeah. Like you're saying, is these leaders, these activists are starting to run for offices, which is so important. You can only go so far if you're just an activist, but if you're actually in positions, you're writing laws, giving money into certain things, then you actually have change. Right,
because see, not only am I an activist, but I'm also a public servant. You know, I'm also
a leader,
a reverend, minister. You know, so I entail different components of. You know, I'm not just an activist.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not just a public servant. I'm not just a pastor or a reverend or a minister. You see, but all of that makes who I am. And I believe that component and those ingredients that qualifies me, I mean, really well for leadership and running a district and being a strong leader and help running the city as a whole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that's pretty much all we got to do for this interview.
Okay.
I really appreciate you sitting down with us.
All right. Well, I appreciate sitting down with y'all.
Anyway, this is Uprising. Thank you for watching.